He, being Jesus, though he was delivered up, y'all watch this. Though he was delivered up according to God's determined plan and foreknowledge. There's some beef in those phrases. Jesus was delivered up to the Roman officials to be crucified, and that was according to God's determined plan and foreknowledge. You, meaning the crowd, you used lawless people to nail him to a cross and kill him. Is that a way to win over a crowd? Okay, think of that. He says, yeah, y'all killed him. You guys killed him. Now, there is something interesting here that you guys got to check in that phrase. You said, hey, Jesus died on the cross. So, everybody knew what had happened. Everybody knew what had happened. And Peter says this crazy statement that the only reason he knows it is because Jesus, while he was resurrected and spent a month with them, he told them. He was like, guys, I know you thought this was nuts, but you know what's even crazier? That was the plan all along. The crucifixion was not a coincidence. It was not a coincidence. Apparently, when we see this, it was the plan A from all along. At the very beginning, if you've ever read Genesis, you know the story. If not, I'll help you. God creates the whole world, and it was good, right? He makes everything. He puts Adam and Eve. He puts people in charge. And then sin enters the world. And then God is like, oh my gosh. It's like, now look what they did. Now they messed it all up. And what am I going to do? I can't believe these two. What did they? It's not what he did, okay? And so I want you to know that when sin came into the world, God didn't flip out. He's not like, oh my gosh, these kids, these kids. How am I going to unravel this? It didn't take him then 3,000, 4,000, however much time in between and be like, oh, all right, now I know. All right, Jesus, we tried everything. Why don't you get in the game and let him crucify you, see if that works, okay? It didn't go down like that. You know what's crazy is this. Before God spoke the words, let there be light, and he started the sequence, he knew when I push this domino and it continues on, plan A from beginning before that phrase was uttered was, I'm going to die for their sins and show them my love. It was plan A all along. Jesus dying on the cross was never plan C, D, nothing. It was always plan A. And the fact that from the very beginning, there's a lot of time that has happened. And guys, we all make plans, and there's so many things that alter your plans, right? You want to get somewhere on time. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to raise money, save money, spend this, do that. And then things happen that I'm like, all right, well, I got to delay that. I got to wait. I got to do. You know what it was? That God's plan, no matter what happened in human history, God's plan was always constant. It was always at work, perfect. And at the right time, according Paul says, Jesus died at the right time, at the right moment, in the right way. At the right time. It was God's perfect plan. This is what's called divine sovereignty. Sovereignty just shows how in control God is. That no matter what was going on in the world, his plan was going to happen exactly to the T. But here's the thing about divine sovereignty, guys. Divine sovereignty does not absolve human responsibility. All right? Divine sovereignty does not absolve human responsibility. What do I mean by that? Y'all caught this. He said, guys, it was God's plan for Jesus to be crucified on the cross. And because you guys were participants in it, y'all guilty. Whoa, hold on. Think about that. If it was God's plan for Jesus to be crucified, somebody had to do it. Apparently, the people there, they volunteered. And so just because it was God's plan for it to happen doesn't mean that the guilty party is off the hook. And they cannot claim ignorance of it. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. It was like, wait a minute, I thought the Romans killed him, or I thought there was the religious people. Well, yeah, there was a lot there. And that crowd that was standing there in front of Peter was thousands of people. And the reason why they were there, we said this last week, it was a Jewish holiday. All right, so track with this. It's a Jewish holiday that Jews from all around the area would gather together in Jerusalem, and they would celebrate this. Well, the same people were there 50 days prior. They were there for Passover. That was another celebration. They all got together to celebrate Passover. They were all there, witnesses to Jesus' crucifixion. And the crowd that was there were either complicit, meaning they joined the religious figures when they were saying, hey, crucify him. I was like, yeah, you know what? Crucify the dude. Take him out, crucify him. They were either joining in the crowd, crucify him, or they were the ones standing back saying nothing. Do you guys know that that's actually the wrong thing, right? When you do, standing silent in the face of evil or wickedness, you know that that is wrong. Doing nothing. you're seeing something wrong happen and you stay silent, do nothing, say nothing, isn't that wrong? So this whole crowd of people, he put them on them and said, y'all guilty. You, not the Romans, you killed them. Divine sovereignty does not absolve human responsibility. Just because y'all didn't know what you were doing doesn't mean that you're off the hook. Isn't it interesting? What did Jesus say on the cross? Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. But just because they didn't know what they're doing, they still needed to be forgiven. There was a penalty that needed to be paid. Listen, I've had this. I know you guys have probably had similar experiences, but I've got 2 speeding tickets. Listen, they were accidents, I swear, okay? Both of them were accidents. You know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to speed. I didn't even know I was speeding, all right? And so they were both in the same spot. You think I would learn my lesson. Same spot, 2 months apart, 2 tickets, same guy. I mean, it was the same state trooper, pulled me over twice. And so there's the Veterans Expressway here in Tampa that there's a section that goes 75 and another one that goes 60. Okay, guess which one I was going, all right? I was going 75 because I was in the 75 section. Well, my ADD self, I wasn't paying attention anymore. I missed the sign. I forgot where I was because most of that, it's all the same. It looks the same. It's just trees upon trees upon trees. So I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. I'm still going 75 in the 60, thinking I'm in the 75. Whoop, whoop. Oh, there it goes. And I'm looking, wait, what am I? No, I already knew what happened. Pulls me over. Do you know how fast you were going? Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I was going 75. I thought it was still the 75 section. I'm sorry. Well, don't matter. All right, wrote me a ticket. Well, 2 months later, same thing happened. I got on the Veterans thinking I was getting on because I got off in a place that I normally don't go. And so I got in on a different spot. That's what threw me off because I'm a ritualistic person like that. I just forgot. I thought I was getting onto the 75 section. Nope, I got onto the 60. So I'm hopping, going 75. Now, no, whoop, whoop, same dude. And I see his, beautiful white hair. It's the same guy. And so he pulled me over, got me twice. And the same thing, I was like, do you know why I pulled you over? Yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't making it. Here you go. $584 later, right? 2 tickets. But here's the thing. I didn't mean to do that. Sincerely, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to speed. I did not mean to break the law. And I didn't even know I was breaking the law. But just because I didn't know I was breaking the law, and just because I didn't know what I was doing, does it mean I can be automatically off the hook? You know, the guy could have been like, I'll let it slide. But still, I broke the law, didn't I? And he couldn't say, oh, you didn't know? It's okay. You can go. Just because you didn't know, and just because you didn't know you were doing it wrong, doesn't mean that you're off the hook. These guys didn't know that they were participating. They didn't know what they were doing. But yet, they still needed to be forgiven because they were guilty. Y'all follow me? Guys, same thing works for us. Same thing works for us. You do not even know the half, the quarter, the percentage of how much you have broken God's laws. You do not. God has a law and a standard. You do not know how badly you've broken it on accident. Because you know what sin is? Sin is not just doing the wrong thing. Sin is not just doing the wrong thing. It's also doing the right thing at the wrong time. You know that's the right thing at the wrong time is still wrong. And you know what's even worse? You can do the right thing at the right time, but if you do it with the wrong motive, that's sin. You can be loving and obedient to your mom and your dad, but if you're doing it because you're manipulative and you're like that person and you got a scheme and you're trying to work the system, you're not loving. You're being selfish and you're being prideful and you're using somebody that you ought to love and serve. Do you see that? That is sin. It's a bigger deal than any one of us realize. And guys, our rap sheet is bad. Our rap sheet is bad, and we don't even know it. They didn't know it. They needed to be told that. I'm telling you, it's bad, but there's good news that comes with this. See, here's the bad news. Peter's laying it down. Listen, there's bad news. You guys are all guilty. You guys messed up. Oh, and wait, there's some more bad news. I'm going to let you know in a minute. I'll tell you. But see, there's no good news if it doesn't come after some bad news, right? For there to be good news, you need to hear what? Bad news. The bad news is, y'all guilty. Good news is, Jesus did something about it.